It's totally crazy that I've been reviewing the Bobsweep robotic vacuums. Now I've seen them grow as a company as well as new Bobsweeps come across, and you have seen those reviews too, possibly. But this one right here is their Bobsweep Orb-i, which is their latest Bobsweep intelligent robotic vacuum. Between having a very active family, including dogs, my floors here have probably seen more action than some movie stunt doubles.
I get plenty of action.
For the past few weeks, I've been putting the Bobsweep Orb-i to the test to see how it performs in real-life situations for someone else that lives a similar lifestyle. And I'm not going to show you perfectly staged rooms and everything picked up. I wanted to see really how this performed in an everyday situation for an everyday family. There is a lot of love for the Bobsweep products, but there are a few things that you may want to know before clicking that buy button. But first, before we get into that, let's take a look and see what's in the box. In addition to all the manuals, we have the Bobsweep Orb-i. We have this spinning dust collector, which will push it into the vacuum, a cleaning tool, as well as this filter so nothing kicks out of the unit. And then this right here is the base unit. So we're going to pull that out. You can see kind of what it looks like. You'll plug that into the wall. And this is the secondary bag that they include. But right there is where the vacuum will dock, and it will suck it right into that reusable bag right there. Pretty easy setup, but that's what's in the box. So yeah, I've had more than probably 10 years experience working with the Bobsweep products, from the very first one up into this Orb-i right now. And they have a whole range of robotic vacuums, everything from ones that are really good with pet hair to just different things. Now they can sweep, they can mop. There's ones that integrate with an app like this one does. A lot of their latest ones will integrate with their Bobsweep app, and it uses technologies like LiDAR and Q-Slam, which are ways that it's going to map where it's going, what it's doing, as well as making sure it doesn't run into things or even not falling down steps. Now, with the Bobsweep Orb-i, I ran the map sequence once I set it up in the app. It was really straightforward to connect it. We ran an update to get the firmware updated, really easy to do, easy to add to the app, and then you can pretty much just let it go. It doesn't vacuum the first time. It's going to go around the room and scan the different rooms and just get an idea of the layout. You can set up different time intervals if you want to, as far as when vacuuming will occur, or just press the button and say, hey, go ahead and go vacuum. And just watching it overall, yeah, it does a pretty good job, whether you're going from wood, if you have a rug, and it had really no issues. Now, we were watching a pet rabbit for a while, and we did have some hay and stuff, so there was a lot of debris on the floor right around it. And just initially, yeah, it did a great job picking it up, but it did have a problem getting that into the vacuum base, I think because it was just overloaded. Now, running it just a normal run and kind of doing a bob sweep and vacuum, it did a really good job, came back to the base and was able to empty that compartment with very little debris left behind. And with that 4.6 liter dust bag that's in this, you really don't have to change it all that often. And that makes it really nice instead of every time picking up the Bobsweep, pulling that tray out and dumping it. Now, they didn't just totally get rid of that, because if you need to dump it and manually access it, you can easily do that. Just pull the tray out, dump it, or you can let it go back to here and go ahead and get that suction going and empty the tray. Now, I did try the Bobsweep on 2 different floors for the most part. Our wood floor, which has some like space area rugs on it, had no issues with that, as well as putting it on a carpet area. And the carpet area also performed well. Now, that carpet is relatively low carpet, but it didn't really have any issues. So it mapped both those areas, worked really well. And I was pretty happy with the results for just letting it run and keeping things clean just on a normal basis. Now, sure, if you really want to go back every few weeks or every week or so and really still get a deep clean with a more powerful vacuum, especially on a carpet, you may still have to do that. So yeah, we still do have a normal vacuum cleaner. As far as pet hair goes, or any hair that's just on the floor, it's still going to get stuck in those brushes and rollers, but they do make it really easy to just pop these clips, pull it out, and you can cut it. There is really no easy way around that, because you're going to want those brushes to go and pick things up. But you'll just have to keep in mind, yeah, while it's doing a good job sucking all that in and cleaning, you're going to still want to clean that up every once in a while. As far as those smart features go and the app, again, the app is really straightforward, easy to use. They do have very helpful information on there if you get stuck with anything. There's minimal buttons that are on the Bobsweep, but the app pretty much guides you the whole way as far as mapping and setting times and letting it discover or letting it vacuum different zones as you may need. One of the big things with Bobsweep that they've been promoting with the Orb-i here is privacy. So a lot of these vacuums out there, they may send maps or information up to the cloud, and there's a lot of people out there that just don't want that. So their big thing is that everything is stored locally, so it communicates with your phone and the app, but it's not sending data to any cloud sources or anything like that. It's kept local in the communication between the app, your phone, and the base here, as well as the Bobsweep. You can also use these no-go features to kind of map and say, hey, you know what? Don't vacuum that area. I don't want you to go over there. So it will remember that and avoid that, as well as a restarting feature. So if you have a big home, it will vacuum what it can and say, hey, you know what? I need more power. I'm going to go back to the base station, empty out, charge up a little bit, and then go back out and finish the job, which is really nice, instead of it just dying somewhere in the middle of the dining room. So while, yes, it did a good job overall keeping things clean and tidy, where do we run into problems? If you do have any types of drapes or tablecloth or wires, it still has problems with this. And yes, it could suck something in and start dragging it off and cause a mess. At some point, yes, it will stop because it realizes there's a jam, but it could be bad. That's something to keep in mind. It's almost like a little kid or a little pet that it's going to try to find something that it may not ultimately detect and could cause a problem. It's still something that you're going to want to keep in mind to either clean up or have it avoid completely, because you could run into issues. As far as competitors go and price comparisons, I think the price is pretty dead set on other competitors, and other competitors do have pretty similar features as well. Now, I really have not worked with the other robotic vacuums, but just looking at what those ones that are on the market offer, they're pretty good. Yeah, there's ones out there that are really inexpensive, and they probably do an okay job, but not a great job, and probably do not have a way to empty out automatically. You're not getting app interfaces, and who knows where that data is being set for either maps or whatever it may be. And then you do have these much bigger brands that also have competitive vacuums that people stand by and love. But I think the Bobsweep is a really great product for most. Now, like I mentioned before, you probably still will need a stick vacuum in your home, apartment, condo, whatever it is, because while it does a really good job keeping up the day-to-day, you still might want to do that deep clean. And I don't think the Bobsweep or any robotic vacuum is really going to be able to achieve that. So for most families, whether it's a family like ours that could have the day-to-day hectic, you have pets, you have kids, I think it does a good job. Now, if you had a lot of carpet throughout, yes, it will do a good job cleaning up. I think it performs better on either low carpet or on wood floors that may have area rugs, things like that. But just to keep in mind, I think the best part of this is really just the day-to-day tidiness. And, you know, you're doing something in the kitchen or in the living room and you drop something or dust builds up. It just runs and it's going to keep things clean. And then you come in every few weeks or so, 2 or 3 weeks, and do a nice deep clean with a stick vacuum and make everything look nice and shiny. I think the biggest thing with the Bobsweep Orb-i is really just having this right here behind me, which allows it to work and empty out for, I mean, it could be a week or so or 2 weeks, depending on how often you have it running. But I just like to have that option because you're not having to empty it every single time. It is a pretty cool and sleek looking design with all the technologies on it. The wheels on the bottom do have a good rubber grip, as well as it can offset itself nicely. So yes, if you're looking for a robotic vacuum, do I think the Bobsweep Orb-i may be one to check out? I definitely think so. So that right there is the Bobsweep Orb-i. I like it, and I think you may like it as well.